Hello and welcome back. In this video, we will see the custom exception in our Java program. So, this is the hierarchy of the exception classes in Java. The very topmost class, or you can say the grand base class of the exception, is throwable, and there is two subclass of throwable. One is exception, and another is errors. And there are so many errors class subclass of error class also, but we are interested here in exception. So in exception normally are of two types. One is checked exception and other is unchecked exception. So checked exception are those exceptions which are checked at the compile time of the Java program, at the compilation of the Java program by the compiler. So that are the checked exception. That's normally comes under the those exception which are apart from runtime exception, and runtime is the subclass of exception class. And other type of the exception is unchecked exception. So unchecked exceptions are the exceptions that comes under runtime exception, or subclasses of runtime exception, like arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, class cast, array index of bound. These all are types of unchecked exception. These exceptions are not checked at the compile time. These are executed, these occurs at the time of execution of the program. Right? If simply you can think, if you are writing in your program int a is equal to 2 divided by 0, so that is a type example of arithmetic exception. But at the time of compilation, or if you are working in Eclipse or netbean, you won't see any errors in your program. Like I'll show you. Like I am writing here, that sorry, I will not write in the try block. I will write here int a equal to 4 divided by 0. So compilation, sorry, int should be in a small letter. So int, so at the compile time, since Java uses interpreter for the compilation, so it shows line by line error. And here you can say that there is no error, no exception indicating in the in this line. So this is unchecked because it is not checked, it is not checking by the compiler at the time of compilation. But when we execute our program, it will occur it will create a exception to our programs. Okay, so this is hierarchy, and we will see custom exception in this video. So for the custom exception, we have to make our own class, and we will extend that class with the exception class, either exception class or runtime exception class. And we will override some methods of the throwable class to define our custom classes, to assign the message or to assign the description to our exception. So let's go. So here is a program I have already written in this program, and I will make you understand this program. In the very last line, sorry, in the middle of the program, I have created a class called CLS, and I have extended this CLS with the exception class. Means this CLS is now subclass of exception class, and it is holding the all properties of the exception class. Now we can now our class CLS can throw a exception from any methods. And I have overridden the method get message and to a string method of runnable class. And I have given the description of our own exception as a desk of catch, or we can say exception. You can define your own message or own description here. And in the message I have written, or I have overridden the twisting, and I have written only hi. Mind you, these two methods returns the string type of the data. So I have written a type, return type as a string, and I have simply returned a value. you can write some codes in this methods also, that will be executed whenever the you call these methods. Okay, so and in next line I have created another class bca, and inside the bca I have a show method, and that show method is throwing exception, and a type of the exception is cls exception. So since we have written here throws cls, so that's why I have thrown explicitly through cls type exception. So somewhere this exception should be handled, so these exceptions are being handled in main method. So in the main method I have designed a try block, and inside the try block, yeah, I have created a object for bca class, and I am invoking the show method. So since the show method is throwing a CLS type exception, so this exception will be handled in the catch block, and in catch block I have printed get message. So first let's we print the e only, so this will probably print the description of the short description of the or type of the exception, so that will return high, since we are overriding the toString function and we are returning the high only, so this will print high. Okay, since exception is being generated, if exception on we remove the lines that is generating exception, so nothing will be in the output screen. So as soon as exception is generated, it goes to the catch block. Inside the catch block we are catching exception, and we are creating a type of the object of the exception class as e, and since we are throwing the exception of type cls, we have overridden the toString method of the as writing high, so this that's why the high is printed here. And if you want to get the message of the e object e, so I can write, you can override these methods also, like get stack trash, and get classes, get cause, that is a method of throwable class, and get localized message also. So I will write here and get message, so now this will print the message that is returned by the get message method. So get message method is returning disk of the exception, means description of the exception, so it will print description of the exception. So you can create your own exception in your own java program. It's very simple. You have to do you have to extend your own class with the exception class, and or runtime exception class you can also extend, and you have to override some methods of the throwable class, and you can easily make the custom exception. So this is a very simple example of custom exception. You can go through this. Okay, and there is something called chain exception in exception handling. So let's see the chain exception. uh, it's a very easy kind of thing, like if what is chain exception? So chain exception is a situation when one or more exception is generated due to another exception, then this is called chain exception. Like I'll make you understand in this way. um, so we are left with the main method and main class only. So inside the try block I can write int a equal to 32 divided by 0. So this is a arithmetic exception, we all know. Sorry, here equal to sign will be, this is a type of example of arithmetic exception, and here exception will be generated, and since as soon as this exception will be generated, the control of execution control will be in the catch block, and if inside the catch block another exception generates somehow, in some situations, like inside the catch we can write try let's create another exception, or we can simply throw another exception, throw new exception. Okay, so here inside the catch we are throwing a new exception also, so we have to put a catch block also here. Exception e. And here I will print e. Sorry, we can't create because we have already created e as object, so I will create here er, and here I will print er. Okay, now let's execute this program. So as soon as I execute it, it says there is a exception in this line, and this exception due to this exceptions control of the execution jumps to the catch block. Inside the catch block we have another exception, and we are simply throwing the exception um, simply exception class constructor. We are writing here exception class constructor, so that's why it's printed java.lang.exception. We can throw arithmetic exception, or array index, or bound, stack flow, class cast, any of the type of exception, or our own custom exceptions also. So due to this exception, there is another exception is generating. This is called chained exception. If I remove this line, no exception will be generated. Fine. Okay, so we can also hit print system.out.println e. So see the output. First one says since in this line exception happens, execution control comes to the catch block, this catch block, and inside this catch block there is another try block, and inside the try block we are printing the first the exception generated by this line, and this is saying divide by 0 exception, arithmetic exception, and next line we are throwing a new exception, and this exception is cached in the next catch block, and it is printing java.lang.exception. So this is a very simple example of the chained exception. So that's all in the exception handling in Java.